Working the line at the St. Tim's cafeteria was the worst. Melinda hated taking the time from her studio. Here she was, scraping disgusting dollops of white goo, reconstituted mush that used to be potatoes in a former life, onto the plates of each passing student. Actually, scraping the plates was the worst. Throwing out perfectly good food was just wrong. And it was food she didn't have to make herself. If it hadn't have been on the children's plates first, Melinda would have taken it home so she'd never have to cook again. Any time she didn't have to cook was a good thing. If only she'd put in the paperwork to validate her work at the festival. Surely those hours would have been enough to buy her out of this work. But she hadn't. So she had to make do with what they assigned her. The school made the parents sign a contract about their commitment to the school every year. She should read the papers they sent home on the first day of school, rather than just signing the things the boys filled out for her. This was what happened when she trusted them. Next year she'd remember. Or just remember to fill out the volunteer papers next month. One click to open the forms online, a few minutes to fill them out, and she would have avoided the fake mashed potatoes. Today's lunch was not one of her favorites. Meatloaf made from the local cows, Melinda approved, and plastic potatoes. Mashed potatoes made from a box of potato flakes. Melinda did not approve. They were disgusting. The only positive thing to be done with these things was to make a mountain, like in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It seemed like a great substance to model with, rather than to eat. She did like the meatloaf. Rather than using breadcrumbs, the chefs pureed carrots and onions to mix with the meatloaf. It was tender and tasty. Maybe there would be a bit left over so she could take it home for dinner. 2 hours later, the lunch service and cleanup were over. It would take hours to get the crud from below her nails. Though with all the paint still under there, her fingernails could give birth to mutant children, fantastically colored mashed potato heads, or even something worse. Melinda grabbed her bag from the drawer. There was no meatloaf left. More bad luck. She went out the back door to the playground. The last group of students from the 7th grade were outside playing football and walking around the edges of the playground. A knot of students was over on the left side of the large field. Voices were getting louder. Melinda began to walk over, thinking perhaps a parent could defuse the situation.